Captain America was a good movie. Iron Man was a great movie. Iron Man 2. I'm sorry, still not over it. Thor, though, was a surprising movie. The equal to Iron Man. So, other than Avengers itself, there's one final movie we need to talk about. My favorite of the pre-Avengers movies. The Incredible Hulk. My favorite, you may say, because this was the least successful of the Avengers movies so far. And apparently, I would guess the one that will have the least amount of influence on the Avengers movie. Yes, it is my favorite. And here's why. First of all, actually, in a lot of ways, it's completely equal to the first Iron Man and to Thor. These are all three of them 10 out of 10 films. So how can one be better than the other? For me, it's because I love the Hulk. I didn't grow up reading Iron Man and Thor. I grew up reading the Hulk. I grew up watching the show. When I was real little, I'd go over to my grandma's house, and I had these green feety jammies. And I'd put just the feet on and stand there in my underwear watching the show. And, when Bill Bixby would transform into Lou Ferrigno, you don't like me when I'm angry. And then I'd pull up my jammies and zip them up and be green and, oh, Hulk! Hulk! And I had problems as a child. But that's what I would do. I would Hulk out. And I read Hulk comics, I had Hulk toys. I loved Hulk. And so when the movie came out, first of all, we can't talk about this movie without mentioning the Ang Lee movie, which I was so excited to see. That was my most anticipated movie that year, and I was so disappointed by it. I was depressed. I went with some friends, and we all came out of the movie, and we looked at each other, and we just went, "What the fuck?" Just it was boring, and it was just horribly paced, and it was not Hulk. It was not Hulk. So when I heard that they were going to reboot it, I was okay with that because I thought, all right, try it again. And then they said Edward Norton was going to play the Hulk. He was going to play Bruce Banner. And I thought, now we got it going. Now it's going to work. That's what I wanted to hear. Edward Norton is one of my favorite actors. He's one of the best actors, easily, of the last 30 years, I would say. I'd say he's in the top 10 of actors from the last 30 years. And so to know that he was cast as Hulk and that Downey was cast as Iron Man meant that Avengers was going to be, this epic coming together of these two great actors, along with whoever was going to play Thor and Cap. I didn't, know that at the time. But Edward Norton does a great job here. Edward Norton, in a way that is so different from Downey, so different from Hemsworth, because and more in line actually a lot with what Chris Evans did with Captain America, because Bruce Banner is not a charismatic, funny character. He can't, Tony Stark is funny and charismatic, and you want to be him. You don't want to be Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner is a wimpy little nobody who people sort of walk all over. And that's what Edward Norton brought to this part. It looked like he lost weight for it. He didn't pack on sort of beefcake. He lost weight. He got skinny. He didn't, have any real charisma as the character in the traditional sense of, being the guy everybody wants to be. He was Bruce Banner. He embodied Bruce Banner. for me in a way that nobody has since Bill Bixby. And then when it came to the Hulk, the fact that they got Lou Ferrigno to do the voice of the Hulk was awesome. But the movie wasn't about the Hulk. The movie was about Bruce Banner. And they managed to make the Bruce Banner moments just as exciting as when he would Hulk out. By director Louis Leterre making it sort of a Bourne Identity kind of thing, where it went back to the man on the run, the guy who's being chased by the military. And Bruce Banner always looks so haggard and tired, and he just wants to go home. And he just wants this to be over. And Edward Norton captured that flawlessly. Flawlessly. And his supporting cast, it's an odd thing because the one thing I did feel that the Ang Lee version did better was its supporting cast. Not that Liv Tyler as Betty Ross and William Hurt as her father, General Thunderbolt Ross, aren't good, but Jennifer Connelly, I like Liv Tyler. Jennifer Connelly is a way better actress, way deeper actress. And Sam Elliott in the Ang Lee version as Thunderbolt Ross. He is Thunderbolt Ross. He didn't have to act. William Hurt, he's playing a part. Sam Elliott was just Sam Elliott, and it was perfect. So in some ways, I think this could have been a sequel to the Ang Lee movie if they just said, okay, we're going to recast maybe the lead actor, but we're going to leave the supporting cast in place, and we're going to pick the story up. It could have been a sequel. But that's a minor quibble because the supporting cast is still good. You feel like the Liv Tyler, Edward Norton romance is a genuine thing. These people who love each other, who have loved each other all this time, the tragedy that they can't be together, that he could kill her. When he's Hulk, he's her protector, but he could also kill her. What William Hurt got right was this sort of Captain Ahab quality of this man who just wants to capture this creature to prove his manhood, basically. I mean, it's just a dick measuring contest with Hulk is all that Thunderbolt Ross has going on. And, William Hurt captured that. Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky, who becomes the Abomination, is another great addition to the cast. This is again a good Marvel villain. Not as good as Loki, but I would say second to Loki as the best of the villains thus far. They managed to add a depth to him by Tim Roth playing him as this aging soldier. He's a fighter. That's all he's ever known. That's all he ever wanted to be, was to be out there in the field fighting. And he's getting too old to do it. And General Ross offers him a chance to go back to his... To take the knowledge that he has now and put it into a body that is younger. And it's a great tie into Captain America to have a version of the super soldier serum be used on Blonsky. And to see, it was, I thought, a great tease when you see Tim Roth facing off against the Hulk and he's doing backflips over the Hulk, and you're watching it going, that's going to be Captain America. That's what Captain America is going to be like. And then when he has his own Hulk out and he becomes the Abomination, he becomes a worthy foe. And I know a lot of people criticized Iron Man for the same thing. The sort of battle of the CG creatures at the end. That it's not two people fighting, that it's two CG creatures, and there's something about that that's not appealing. I don't know what you people want. What do you want? Did you want them to paint somebody up in green makeup to do the Hulk? The Hulk's got to be CG. The Abomination had to be CG. Iron Man and Ironmonger, at least parts of them, had to be CG. Um, Thor and Loki, Cap and Red Skull, those were, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted CG characters jumping around. But for Hulk, that's what you had to have. You had to have CGI characters. Um, I really never understood the criticism of this movie. I thought it was absolutely as good as Iron Man. I didn't know why it didn't perform at the box office as well as it should have, although it did do well. I mean, it wasn't a $900 million grossing movie, which is sort of the benchmark now for what you have to be successful. This was as good as Iron Man in every way. And the setup at the end, Tony Stark showing up, spoiler alert, Tony Stark showing up, that was a moment of just geekgasms in that theater where I was. Like, oh my God, it's actually connecting. Look, there's Iron Man is looking into the Hulk movie. And it was one of the most thrilling things I'd ever seen in a movie, because now we knew that in just a few years, Edward Norton and Robert Downey Jr. were going to be shaking hands as Bruce Banner and Tony Stark in the Avengers. But that's not happening, is it? What are we getting instead? What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Terrence Howard, I accepted that. I accepted Don Cheadle walking in and being Rhodey. I accepted that. The moment that they announced Edward Norton was not returning for the Avengers, this is basically where it was. This was the Avengers to me. This is like, okay, it was like Avengers and like every other movie. Just, who gives a shit? Even Dark Knight Rises, I was going, yeah, Dark Knight Rises, whatever. I've seen Batman movies before. This is something new. Avengers. Oh. You can't recast one of the main actors from the series and still expect it to be the same thing. I mean, you can't. You can't do it. You made promises, Marvel. You made promises. Here's Bruce Banner. This is Bruce Banner. Meet your new Bruce Banner. He's going to be in Avengers too. Here he is. Stop the hate. 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 No! Avengers bottomed out for me when they didn't recast Edward Norton. And the trailers are awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not saying I'm not going to go see it. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie. But this was Avengers before. Not anymore. Not for me. And rewatching the Hulk only enforced that. I don't give a shit how good Mark Ruffalo is. He's not Edward Norton. Remember how good Mark Ruffalo was in what? In what? He was adequate in plenty of movies that I've seen. Was he amazing? Was he stupendous? Was he one of the greatest actors of his generation? No, he wasn't. So, in conclusion, 1 month from now, I will be doing my Avengers review. And the movie will be infinitely poorer for Edward Norton's absence. He was, and always will be for me, the Hulk.